Good morning and hello. My name is Dellin and I am super excited to talk to you about what if a customer is not always right. The customer is always right is a motto or slogan which exhorts customer service staff to give a high priority to customer satisfaction. It was popularized by pioneering and successful retailers such as Harry Garden Selfridge, John Wanamaker, and Marshall Field. The terms of customer is always right have always been used for such a long time. But I always wonder, how about the employees' right? What if they meet a disrespectful and rude customer? Can they still accept every disrespectful act from that kind of customer as something right? Thankfully, through Dr. Daniel Chong's article about what if customer is not always right, we can finally discuss further about this topic. Customer is feedback through Facebook Business Review, TripAdvisor, Google Review, Twitter have been a way for customers to giving their opinion or complaints toward the service that they get from some business operation. Customer feedback is very important for every type of business because it might affecting the business rating. Receiving such a poor feedback from customer is such a huge nightmare for every business owner. That is why we often see that when a McDonald's customer posting all complaints, taking the McDonald's official account about how they get the wrong amount of chicken for their order. For example, like she ordered a set of chicken that comes with 6 pieces of chicken, but she only get 4. Of course, she will be unsatisfied, angry, and getting out his frustration towards her social media, taking the McDonald's, and a lot of people in that social media will see it. It probably will go viral. So the McDonald's company, of course, will directly apologize and sending the customer a new set of chicken. Their first action is to make sure that the customer will be happy. If they're ignoring the customer complaints, people in the platform will having a bad point of review towards McDonald's customer service and McDonald's rating might be dropped. But we cannot change the facts that sometimes a negative feedback is giving a good impact too. For example, a customer giving only 2-star rating for the new menu at Starbucks because it doesn't taste good. The negative feedback for the Starbucks company will help the company to survey whether the menu is suitable with the customer preference, suitable with the customer taste. Will the menu can help to boost their sales rating, or probably the customer will not like it, so they can remove the menu or change the menu or improve the menu to this kind of feedback. Honest review. Let me take myself as an example. I love to use Shopee or Lazada, and before I buy anything, I will always survey the review or the feedback from the other customer first. If I saw any types of complaint for the customer, I will not buying anything from that shop. I will survey another shop that have the better feedback, the best feedback, the higher rating, because I don't like to take the risk. Do you still want to buy a skirt from the shop if you read a customer complaint about how bad is the skirt quality is? I don't think so. Or do you want to check in the hotel that only have a 1-star rating? If you love to sleep with a cockroaches and rat, you can try to. Okay, but the problem is there are some irresponsible customers that leaving a very unnecessary feedback. For example, a customer that leave a 1-star rating to a restaurant that serve her a pizza with pineapple on top because she doesn't like pizza with pineapple on top. But she is the one who ordered that type of pizza, and then she blamed the restaurant for it. Another example, a customer who left a 1-star rating to a beauty salon just because her face does not directly become glowing like Korean Idol after she only got her first treatment there. So this type of customer cannot be called as a right customer. They fail to give a honest review, they fail to give a right feedback for the business operators. Customers that like to jump to conclusion is not always right. It is so unfair for customer to prejudging a service failure to the service provider, and it will break the trust between two parties. For example, a guy orders a pizza and has it delivered to his house. It arrives on time, just as promised. Yet, when he opens the box, he is instantly unhappy because it isn't what he ordered. There are no toppings, no cheese, no sauce. It is just bread. The disgruntled customer hits Twitter to complain, and the pizza company apologizes for the mistake, although the pizza company has not made one. It's not their mistake. It's the customer mistake. The customer had opened the pizza box the wrong way. It upside down. So as you can clearly understand, the guys who order pizza is too quick to jump into conclusion and too quick to blame the pizza company without even spending a couple of seconds to checking the pizza box carefully whether he opened it in the right way or not. So this is why customer is not always right. And we need to stop using the terms customer is always right in the wrong way, because this type of customer doesn't deserve it at all. Did they right? They are not right. Okay. Common sense. The type of irresponsible customer always loves to blame everything towards the service provider and refuse to bring rational and tolerance with using their common sense over certain issues. Sometimes we as a customer always having a miscommunication toward requests, especially at a restaurant. For example, I have once ordered one set of spicy chicken for myself and one set original, not spicy, for my sister. But when the cashier asked, spicy or original? I only said spicy without explaining to her that I want one set spicy and the other set is original. So at the end, I got 2 sets of spicy chicken. Thanks God, my sister doesn't mad at me and my sister doesn't eat me instead. Okay, and as a responsible customer, of course, I don't blame the cashier for the mistake I make myself. That would be so embarrassing. But here is an example about how an irresponsible customer that refuses to use his common sense. A man visits a restaurant with his family on Thanksgiving. He sits down, points at his glass of water and screams, "Ice!" at the server. The server nods with understanding that customer is right. There is ice in this water. The man continues to pin and holler ice. The server finally learns from the man's wife that what he wants is a glass of plain ice. When the kind-hearted server returns, the man berates him for not having read his mind. So, did the man right? If a customer is always right, did the man action is right? For me, it's a big no. As you can, as a customer, you cannot assume that the waiter or a cashier or a employee to understand exactly what your desires are without giving a clear explanation to them. Even robots cannot read your mind, so how can they? Other than that, speaking of common sense, as a customer, you should be aware that every shops have their own business schedule. It is so disrespectful for you to come too early and to come too late. You have to follow their schedule. For example, if you come too early before the opening time, it will at that time they will busy cleaning, arranging the chair, or getting ready for the ingredients, getting ready for the menus. And if you come too early, they will might not have enough ingredients. It will kind of distracting to them. And if you come too late, it before the closing time, for example, you come at the shop will be closed at 9 p.m. but you come at 8 p.m. and you was like, it's okay, it's fine, there are 10 minutes left, chill. Always keep in mind that 10 minutes before closing, the employee and staff need to get ready for the closing, and they will busy cleaning so that they can get home early and rest. It's best to leave the shops 30 minutes before the closing time so that you can give them a chance for the staff to get ready for closing early, then they can happily get home early. Micro customization. Satisfying a customer is always important in any businesses because customer is your money sources. A happy and satisfied customer will boost your business rating, bring a lot of new customer, and that means bring a lot of money back. But satisfying customer is really a tough job. It's not easy to suit an individual preference for products and services. A little bit of mistake might bring the result of an unhappy customer. For example, a guest orders spaghetti and then complains about it to the server. When asked what is wrong, the man says it tastes great and the portion size is perfect. So what is wrong? But the spaghetti is too long. He wants shorter spaghetti, something like chicken soup noodle. So you see, a perfect customer is not exist. There will always be something that will against the customer desire, whether it is the hospitality, services, product quality, or even the customer personal preference, their own preference. For example, is it the customer fault to serve the man a long spaghetti? I don't think so. Spaghetti used to be long, right? So some customer like long spaghetti, some customer like shorter spaghetti, and some like both. If you like both shorter and long spaghetti, you are in my team. It is kind of selfish if you doesn't satisfied about something just because they doesn't suit your preference types. It is the same concept as getting unsatisfied with your boyfriend's new hairstyle just because his hairstyle does not suit your ideal types of hairstyles, just like your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio or someone else like Kim Namjoon or Jeon Jungkook or Kim Taehyung, or yeah. It is also the same concept as getting unsatisfied towards chocolate cookie just because you doesn't like chocolate flavor. Get an order that suit your preference so that you will not have to complain about irrelevant things. Seating preference also have always been an issue, especially in the restaurants. That is why some restaurants use the reservation system to giving the best table for the customer. Some customer might reserve a table near the window so that they can enjoy the beautiful view, while some customer prefer a table in the middle of a restaurant so that they can enjoy a larger table perhaps. The table location of a certain restaurant often depends on the on the restaurant limited space and layouts, plus the unique style and concepts of the restaurant itself. There are some restaurants that was built under the aquarium. There are some unique restaurant that it's floating. The table is floating, so some customer might not get comfortable with it. So if you know you will not like it, don't enter that restaurant at the first place. So here's some situation example. A woman walks into a teppanyaki theme restaurant which has a huge open kitchen in the middle of a dining area. She refused to sit next to the cooking station because she cannot tolerate the smell of cooking and the noise of the exhaust fan from the open kitchen. The hostess does her level best to accommodate the woman, although most of the tables and dining counters at the restaurants are next to the kitchen counters, the cooking station. The staff then sit her next to the entrance. From this situation, we should learn that as a responsible and rational customer, we should try our best to fit ourselves to the style and concept of some restaurant. The uniqueness of some restaurant and concept and style are worth it to be enjoyed as a new experience instead of complaining about it. As this woman, if you don't like the concept of the restaurant setting location, you can go to a restaurant that have a normal setting location and that suit more to your personal preference that based on how comfortable you are. Next, what is enough information? As a customer, sometimes we are not aware of the business style or advertising style of a certain business. As a customer, it is natural for us to expect the something as we see from an advertisement because that is simply the reason why we interested in that product at the first place. Advertisements are commonly simple with a limited and straightforward information and unrealistic beautiful photo that consists of professional touch of Photoshop that makes it way different from the actual product. It is normal for the customer to complain about why the ham in my burger is different from the pictures or why the clothes does not fit me perfectly as the pictures. But overly demanding and irrational customer that relies too much on the only stated information in the advertisements can simply make the complaints arise. For example, there is some customer who complains, we assume there would be included in we booked an excursion to a water park, but no one told us that we have to bring our own swimsuits and towels. We assumed this would be included in the price. So another example is, although the brochure said there was a fully equipped kitchen, there was no egg slicer in the drawers. Why? Next example is a customer who complained, I was bitten by a mosquito. The brochure did not mention mosquitoes. Why did the brochure needs to mention the mosquitoes there? Okay, last example, a customer complains about, we found the sand was not like in the brochure. Your brochure shows the sand as white, but it was more yellow. All of these examples of customer feedback are enough to prove the fact that customer is not always right. Nowadays, mostly customer feedback was given from social media platforms, and these free platforms get a comfortable way for some customer to vent their frustration remotely. That is why irrelevant feedback can often be found everywhere. Customer feedback motives are always to ensure that the customer dissatisfaction is heard and acted upon this kind of feedback. But this kind of feedback will become distraction towards the survey and will overshadowing the other relevant feedback that should be considered more for the operators. So it is important for customer to use the benefits of feedback opportunity in a good way. A good customer should act reasonably and responsibly with regard to their compliment. Talking about customer feedback, when you're scrolling down through Shopee, you can see a lot of unreasonable customer feedback that sometimes might affect the seller's rating. For example, it is not keep in mind that it is not the seller's fault about the shipping process. So if the shipping comes late but the product is good, so it is Please give the customers a 5-star rating because the product is good, the packaging is good, but the problem is just the shipping is late. The shipping is not the seller's problem, it's the shipping company itself's problem. You cannot blame the sellers about it because the sellers cannot do anything about it. So instead of giving like 3 stars rating for the in the seller page just because of the shipping, you should the sellers deserve a 5-star rating because the product quality is good but shipping is bad. So you go to the shipping company page and give your feedback in that shipping company page instead. Okay, so how I still think that customer is always right. Is it true that to have a successful business, you want your customer to return as well as feel welcome and appreciated? So the term of customer is always right is a good motto to encourage your staff or your employee to treat the customer as best as they could. But remember, there will always be a tough and challenging customer that will be hard to handle. They could be very disrespectful toward your employees, sabotaging your business, and interact with your other customer that are more worth it. The customer is always right even when they are wrong, might giving the idea that your employees doesn't have any powers at all and it will give pressure toward your employees. It's simply brainwashing the employees even if the customer is not satisfied over something, even though it's not the employee's fault, the employee is still the one to blame. During this pandemic, a lot of video of an angry customer that we often pronounce as Karen appear in social media. Sometimes it is just because they refuse to wear a mask when entering the shop for just a couple of minutes, and their favorite line is, "Where is your manager? Let me see your manager. I will make sure you get fired. You have no power to talk back to me." So this is why the terms customer is always right should be corrected. Customer have the right, but they are not always right. Refusing order for some customer that did not follow the rules and might bring distraction and uncomfortable situation towards your employee and your other customer is not the right thing to do. For example, if a customer keep yelling at people around your cafe, yelling at your staff, spitting at the floor, you have the right to refuse giving service towards him. Because as a customer,